Hey everybody, and welcome back to Riven. This is episode 5. We're in the middle of exploring this habitat. We've pretty much explored everything on the island I think there is, but we've been going around, and I was originally going to head back to the main island so that I could start exploring on another one of these islands, or another one of the connected places. But I think I must have missed something because remembering back to the numbers that we found, so we have, these kind of eyeball things that rotate back and forth, and you end up getting a number and a sound attached to it. I don't know if I have the answer to that yet, but there was also this series of levers that we were never really able to explain, and I don't know if I have the answer to that yet, but before I give up and go back, I want to be sure I haven't missed anything important. I'm getting another video. It's definitely a person in there running the alarm. They're saying, he's back. He came back. Anyway, that guy, I don't know how he goes to the bathroom in there. He's just, there's not even a ladder. He's just stuck in there forever, I guess, and they feed him scraps through the window, but let's go up. Hear the lapping of the water on the dock. So peaceful, serene, and empty, except for the baby, the mysterious baby. I need to go back down. I don't know if I can. I can't go back down from this level. I was hoping I could ride the chains back down to the bottom, but looks like I will need to summon the... How do I get back to the submarine? I need to get back over there, because that's where it is at the bottom of that guy. I don't think there's an auto recall on the submarine, so maybe I have to figure out how to get down there. Can I write it down? It does not seem to let me write it down. Which means I'm out of luck, and I have to see if I can summon it via some other means. Back to... Sorry for the rapid clicking. Oh, magically the submarine is returned to its lever, so whatever the baby perhaps climbed in. Autonomous driving. Now, how did I get to the bottom again? I think I went all the way around the other side. And had to come through. So, no, it was the, definitely the prison cell, I believe. No, it was not. The prison cell only leads... I don't know what I'm talking about. I've already forgotten. This is why you take copious notes. And I will go down, startle the poor mammals again. He's like, geez, dude, come on. You can't leave us in peace for a minute. Swim away. I really would like the sun on that beach. It looks very relaxing, you know, get a margarita, just chill out. Yeah, this is the right way. Okay. Down, down, down. We all live in the yellow submarine. Do I want to go forward again? Let's back this way. The dock, I think, is back that way, so let's keep going forward. I have to say, for the 90s, that rendering, the water rendering especially, really is decent looking. I think I'm too far away still. I'm on the wrong track. Yeah, I'm... Oh, no, I am. Okay, good. Do I want to be here? I'm glad I closed this because otherwise... Excuse you, dude. I wouldn't have been able to stand in the middle and get on this thing, so... Right. What was I going to do? Why did I want to get here? I can't even remember. Well, I guess I'll undo what I just did. No, I want to be on the submarine. No, I want to go to that overlooking, where I'm trying to get is a place with the levers, not up here, because I was just up here. And I can disregard that hanging... Nope, it's going to make me do it. It's going to make me do it. Well, this was a waste of time for everyone involved, so I hope you're getting your exercise and have a good sense of balance, because I did not bring any snacks on this trip, and I have not found anything edible so far, and I'm getting a little peckish. Up, 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 sprint, sprint, sprint. I am like the world's fastest climber. How do I get back to there is the question. I can't pull this lever. Wow, I've definitely screwed it up now. Ooh, that's something I haven't done. Ah, that baby. Where's the baby? I haven't tried it with that open. I don't think that's going to help me. In fact, I'm reasonably sure you have to have it closed so you can ride the elevator up and down and not fall in the water. So maybe I won't try that until I come back for something else. But, yeah, I left my submarine there forever. It's not there. It's over there. And I really don't think it's going to let me lower myself down this time either. Nope. Yeah, I can't go down there. Well, let's try something. I had a thought while we're here before we get on the maglev and head back to civilization. And by civilization, I mean the industrial power plant. Beautiful, beautiful rock. You really need to put some grease on those rails, guys. Yeah, I've been here. This is not where I need to be. Okay, well, so far this has been a fruitless 10 minutes. Perhaps, though, this has reset the position of the submarine, maybe? In the town that I was born, lived a man who sailed the sea. Sailed the sea! Stop clicking there. Turn. It's still not there. Okay. Still fire. Still plenty of fire. Well, sports fans, I don't know how to get back to the submarine. Because like a dullard, I have left it there and ascended into the heavens. The only way I know that we'll reset it is to ride the tram and come back. Could gaze wistfully out the window at the ocean and contemplate my life choices that have led me to this point. And is the creepy child here? No creepy child yet. Nope. Don't see a creepy child. I did find this guy. So numbers, I was thinking about those levers and how these numbers could possibly be, excuse you, a signifier of which levers I'm supposed to throw. But it also could have nothing to do with that. I really don't know. And I found 3 of them. It's a big axe. I guess we could go home, but I don't know. Oh, I forgot about the minecart. Yeah, okay. Well, let's check out the minecart. This looks extremely dangerous. So now that I've explored this whole island, I'd love nothing more than to get in the runaway mine train, pull this lever, and see if I can fall into a boiling pot of magma. Let's go. I'm trying to come up with another joke about roller coasters and getting on, but I really can't think of anything. Oh, it's the magma. The magma's come. Womp, womp, womp. Rings? I'm underwater. Very interesting. Wow, this is a very long tunnel. Plurp. I am definitely on a different island now. This one is very barren. It's just rock. Sheer rock. Like basaltic rock. Lava. Is this like the Disney World train? It takes you to places. So I have a feeling that was a one-way trip. And I'm gonna die into a hopper of doom. Well, I didn't die. It's amazing. Wow, this is a barren wasteland. I have just been treated like probably lumber, because that cart was right there by the trees that had been cut down, and maybe this is a lumber chute. And the lumber comes down and into the wood chipper, which I very nearly fell into. Yeah, that's, I think this is a wood chipper. That could have been real bad. Nothing happens. No power. Okay. Interesting. So this is a... oh! Okay, so remember, there was one of the icon panels in the round room that talked about the paper making process. So going from trees to wood chips to then paper. And I think this is probably a paper mill, because this is a big wood chipper that's shooting out wood chips here on the ground. There's a big catwalk out here to the center with like a valve, so maybe an inlet valve and then an outlet valve to tell it where you want to send the. And there's even a burner lit underneath there. See. So natural gas, perhaps. Well, let's explore a little bit. Let's go up in here. I cannot knock on the door. I have a feeling everything in there is very molten and very deadly. This, another gauge, similar gauge style to the one in the submarine. I don't know what it signifies. It's red, which means probably no touchy, but it's boiling. This lever does nothing. This is a complicated series of pipes. So right now, from this main terminal, there's something coming up this pipe through this Y valve, and it's splitting off to either go up or to go to this control panel. So let's look up. I think that's probably the boiler. What happens if I crank this guy? That did nothing. Okay, these two levers did nothing. Let's go back up this pipe and flip the source of the gas here. And hit this valve. No, so maybe it's not powered at all. Whatever this supply is from, it's doing nothing. So I'm going to reset that back to what it was. Try this valve. So instead of going there, it should vent out the top if it's going in. Okay. Bubbles are coming to a stop. Now there's a light up here. So this is some kind of natural gas, perhaps. My vial has dropped off, the gauge on the right of the door. I'm a little suspicious that this is still hot, given the fact that it was just boiling, but somehow I can just miraculously walk inside. I don't know how that works. It's still full of water, so I need to empty the water out via some means. But no longer fatal. Gas has been vented. This, I don't think, will let the water out, though I can try it. I don't know what that does. Okay, well, let's see what happens if we fire up this wood chipper. I think we can divert this from going over there to going behind us. Actually, that would have diverted it away from this place. So I've energized. What does this circuit do? Nothing. Now let's try it. I'm raising some kind of mechanism out of the tank. So maybe the water pulp, it's a big boiler to boil all the pulp and soften it, and then I'm not too familiar with the paper making process, except I know you chip up a lot of wood and you treat it with a bunch of chemicals, and I'm pretty sure in the state of California I would get cancer for walking in here, but yeah, so I can walk around, but I can't go down here because I would drown. Well, let's try, we raised the platform, but we didn't release the water, so let's try powering up this circuit now, which still does nothing. I don't know what that even does. Oh! I'm not entirely sure how that mechanism works. That doesn't really make sense to me. But oh well. Okay, let's go see if we've made paper. This looks like a big empty cylinder. Ooh, spooky tube. Even sounds like a spooky tube. Totally pitch black. I'm now going to be digested into paper over the course of 1,000 years. Hello? It's Spooky Tube Man. Not helpful. Oh, there's a path. Okay, well, so the water is just dumped overboard to the ocean. It's very eco-friendly. Paper making process, great for the world. Oh, nice. It's a nice view at least. You get to see the whole top-down view. And hear the wildlife chirping. So now I have access. So when we came in over on this side by the wood chipper, I did see this high off peak where this kind of triangular looking door, again with that same motif of the triangular sides and the rounded dome top. There's some kind of building over here, a conservatory almost looking with a, or a greenhouse with a glass roof. But let's go in here and see what befalls us. A damp and spooky cave, as most are in this universe. They hadn't invented the LED yet, I believe. Ah, so a steam pipe coming in. But it's probably not powered, yeah. So nothing happens when I throw the lever. This nice colander. Perhaps this is for making your... making spaghetti. You've got a nice little, some flavor pellets over here. You pop your spaghetti here in the middle. You throw the lever and you've presto, you've got steamed broccoli. Or it's, that actually looks like a, yeah, you click the pressure plate and it snaps closed. So what is this? It looks like fish food. Ooh, I got a pellet. I'm gonna eat it. How do I eat it? I'm gonna eat this pellet. No, drop it over here. Just drop it in the, drop it off the side. I have infinite pellets. Good. Okay. And close. My pellet is still there. I mean, this does look like a winching mechanism. Oh, there's a big fan here. Huh. Okay. This is a really complicated instrument, but what am I supposed to do with it? There's a winch line here, so it looks like this whole device lowers down, but I need to power it first. And I'm obviously in some kind of chasm, so maybe I'm fishing for newts or something in this cave. I don't know. This is kind of a weird installation to have just for a colander, but whatever. Maybe let's. Oh, there's a hatch. Okay, it's good. It's a good hatch. Can go down there now. Let's go down there and see where we go. I need to be on the lookout for any more of those little bug eyes that make sounds and roll back. But I don't see that happening. Okay, burner's definitely out, which we knew. I can navigate around here back to where I was. Since we've relieved the water in here, let's turn this valve all the way to the left, power up the wood chipper, and see if I can end it all and just jump in and be done with this game. Oh yeah, feel the power. Let's hop in. Can I pull the lever from this side? What happens? Oh, it won't let me pull the lever. Really? No, it will not. Sadly, no suicide allowed. That's a nice big mechanism, though. It looks like a hefty, powerful wood chipper and quite a pile of wood chips here. Well, when we came in, it was pointed this way. I don't even know where that goes off to, but let's point it back towards the colander. No, can't do that. Oh, maybe that is pointed. The supply line was the far one. So let's go around. Well, it's a good thing I went that way originally, because if I had not, I would have come up to this ladder and I would have been knocking on this hatch with no one to let me in. Is there a food pellet? Oh, there is. Okay, put the food pellet back and then pull the lever. Goodbye. Beautiful. Fan's still going. Well, what do I do now? Did I catch anything? Nope. I'm hungry. Bring me a fish, or a newt, or a cave salamander. I'll just come back later. I'll just let it stay down there. And what else is there to do on this little island? I can't go that way. I have no access over there. Let's see if I go around the right, to the left side of where I entered, if there's anything fun over here. That's a cool mechanism. I really like the steampunk vibe. This was steampunk before steampunk was really a thing. It's like the 18th century, or 19th century, excuse me, kind of vibe. There's nothing here. Nothing else. I can't get through there at all. I don't want to divert that because I don't think there's anything of value in here. I looked around already. I'm not going to waste time going back in there and having that door animation. This mechanism's all figured out. I need to leave that open in case I need to get back over there. Well, I don't know what to do now. I don't know how to get around the backside, perhaps. Anything clever or interesting? Nope. Big ball of fire previously. That's the pipe I navigated through. It only took me like 5 clicks. That's pretty good. Through the hatch. See what I've got for Din. Well, it's been set off. What is it? Any bets? A tiny bear? A salamander? Earthworm? Oh, a little frog. And it makes... That sound is the sound from that first ball by the maglev. Interesting. It was very brightly colored. And in nature, brightly colored generally means poison. And if you'll recall, in the very start of the game, the guy who fell over in front of us looked like he got hit by something like a poison dart or something. So this is all just supposition, but I would guess that this is the source of poison for the poison frog. Why does it let me look at this fan? Am I supposed to, like, cut my fingers off in it? I don't know. I guess I can't do anything with the frog? Am I supposed to catch it? Should I touch it? I feel like that's probably poison. I don't really understand. What happens if I turn the power off when it's down there? I mean, I don't know why it'd be any different, but it's something I haven't done. Let's do two things at once. Catch me a frog and try to grab it, although I usually can't touch anything, oops, until the animation is finished, so I don't think I can touch the frog or otherwise manipulate the frog. Not that the frog would want that anyway. Fan is still whirring away. I wonder how dark it gets in here with the doors closed. Surprisingly not very dark. Ah, sneaky side passages. Of course. Ah. Always close the door behind you, folks. They don't want you to because it's spooky and scary. But it always pays off. I hear sounds. Ah, it's like a bridge motor. Do I need to throw this lever? What purpose would it serve? Let's find out. Oh, the noise has stopped. Whatever that noise may be. This is very ornate. This is like a greenhouse or, you know, like a conservatory type structure. Very rough-hewn metalwork. Housekeeping. I've got your Amazon Prime. Let me in. Can't go around. No. Another cave. Did I miss anything off here? Just looking back down the wood chute. Oh, back towards the Gold Dome. So this is the access back. This is that bridge, the very first bridge I saw that hopefully will give us access to the dome. So we're aligned exactly with that cleft in the dome. And I'm excited to go see what's in there, but first I need to see what's in here. And this is a power line? Where's this power line going? I threw the valve, or the wire, or whatever it is, switch, and it goes up, and it disappears up over there behind here. Let's go in here and see if that's done anything to my mechanism. Ah, the fan has stopped. And I can climb through. Okay, well, let's not do that yet. Let's check out the basement level here. Aha, another, so this island apparently also has a, I forget the name of that device. Rotoscope, perhaps? Not really a rotoscope, but I need to get into there. So this is that animation you see, each one of these a frame, and then that's the golden frame that passes by. But how do I get in here? Close the door? Haha, you guys are so tricky. I need to get into my observation room. Okay, so this is Paper Island, I'll call it in my notes here. And the golden eye is, let's look at that one more time. When the nictitating eyelid is closing, golden eye, no pun intended, but I need to stop it right at that point where it comes by, if it's anything like the other. Got it. Nice, first try. Whoop. And it flumps over. Let's go check it out. There's some pretty heavy, like, kind of tracks, like somebody drug some stuff in there, but another puzzle. Nada. I don't know what's in... I don't know if that opens. This kind of looks like a porthole, which may open or something, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm just gonna leave it. I guess I don't know if I can push that button again. Do I need to like... I'll deal with that when I come to it. So for now, I'll just leave all the domes exposed. I don't even know if I can flip them back over, but I don't really want to try and waste a bunch of time doing something I don't have to do. So let's go climb through this fan vent. That vent tube went all the way over to that conservatory. So let's go check out what's in the conservatory. Nothing to see here. I just need the Mission Impossible theme to start playing. Predator. Anybody home? Anybody home? Nobody. That's good. I don't want to get accosted. This place is oddly abandoned. Some notes here. 87-728, whatever that might mean. Last week, while monitoring the situation of the villagers from the scope in my survey room, I observed one of the natives swim out to a small object that appeared to be floating, but anchored, near the entrance to the bay. I ordered the object removed from the water for inspection. Several days later, however, I was surprised to see another floating there. The missing object had apparently and quite mysteriously been replaced with a new one overnight. I've long been aware of the existence of similar artifacts on the villagers' island, but have paid them little notice until now. Tomorrow I shall send surveyors to catalog the others. Interesting. This is the ball we noted. 1. This is number 1, if you'll remember back to our number system. So this one was anchored out in the bay. What else do we have here? This looks like a little stellar projector, essentially, where you light a lamp in here and it projects through and you can make little crosshairs and measurements of things. These look like some kind of fruit and a jar, maybe his lunch pail or her lunch pail. Okay, time for some reading. The latest ink formulation has proven a failure. Even when writing in my most promising books, I obtain only the barest glimmer of a connection. It is frustrating to expend so much effort creating a blank book, only to end up destroying it when it doesn't work. There are days when the lab is uncomfortably warm from the flames of these failed attempts. The further I refine each element, the formulations of the inks and papers, the physical dimensions of the books, the more I realize that the list of potential combinations is nearly infinite. It is during moments like these that I despair. Without access to Dunny, my long-term goals may never be accomplished. Nevertheless, there are avenues of research which remain to be explored. So before I go on, the art of writing, which is what we saw Atris doing at the end of Myst and when we first linked in, was making modifications to the ages. So obviously he must have ink that works. The Dunny were the originators of the art, so he's in Dunny, which means whoever is writing this is cut off from Dunny, from the source of the original ink, the original paper, and he's got the natives working full tilt to try to be able to duplicate the work, probably to get off. So I think it was, he mentioned Gen. He said to go catch Gen at the very beginning is what Atris told us. So I'm wondering if, knowing he's trapped here, perhaps that's who we're following or whose lab we're in right now. So I'll keep reading for a bit. I am discontinuing regular observations of the stars beneath the fissure, although I've been able to track the dark cloud-like formations that migrate through the star field and have proven that their paths are cyclical. Without proper instrumentation, it is pointless to continue. My general theory concerning the nature of the fissure has remained unaltered since it first appeared. It seems that the fabric of this age has been breached in a way that permits matter to be hospitably exchanged between two discrete but overlapping spaces, much like a link, but the apparent physical contradictions surrounding this juncture defy logical reason. The great column of wind that was formed when the fissure first appeared suggests a vacuum, as one might expect in space, yet my early experimentations revealed the presence of a breathable atmosphere. That Atris and Catherine threw themselves into the void is further evidence that it might be safe to travel, but without knowing its true nature I cannot take the risk myself. It is also difficult to say what would happen if I were to reopen it after so long, but it is likely that the results would be catastrophic given the changes that have occurred in this age since that time. Maintenance on the steam vent caps completed. I'm extremely pleased with the continued success of this system. I believe the construction to have been true to the Dunny designs of my memory, another example of the superiority of the Dunny technology. It's ironic that Atris and Catherine unwittingly provided me with such a convenient source of power. Okay, so there's a cap over these sources of steam, and that steam is then diverted to do useful power. But he's talking about closing fissures and viewing the stars in the fissure. So I wonder if the viewer is the ice cream cone. You know, we looked at that viewer, and there's steel plate everywhere. So he's sealing up these fissures and trying to stabilize the age. Like the fabric of the age has been breached in a way that permits matter to be exchanged. But the contradictions in that nature of that fissure mean that it's very unstable, and he's not sure if someone can travel through it. So he has capped everything off, the steam, stabilized everything using Dunning technology, and now, I guess, developed all of these devices in the meantime, trying to replicate the ink in the paper. As with many of my views over the years, my thoughts regarding the origin of the fissure have changed. I have recently begun to wonder whether it actually is an unexpected byproduct of the changes Catherine and Atris wrote into this age during their escape. Certainly by casting their linking book into the void, they trapped me here quite effectively, but I do not believe that Atris intended the book to be lost in this manner. Much better to destroy it than to risk the possibility of it falling into unknown hands. Which, of course, if you remember the intro to Myst, they fell into my unknown hands. Also, had they foreseen the creation of the fissure, they would surely have thought that the vacuum it created would eventually consume the atmosphere of this planet, a fate which Catherine undoubtedly would have deemed unacceptable for her home world. So Catherine's from Riven originally. If I had not been there to supervise the construction of the seal, this most certainly is what would have happened, for the villagers were far too frightened to even approach the vortex without my urging. I hold on to the belief that it was an unintended consequence of their writing for another reason as well. I prefer to think that my son had meant for this age to be merely a prison for me, rather than a death sentence. So, Atris is Gen's son. I did know this already because I've read the lore, the Myst Reader book, the Book of Atris, which talks about the relationship between Atris and his father, which was strained at best. So I'll talk about that just briefly, where in the books, Gen was very mean-spirited. He was very kind of severe and brutal, and felt that it was the job of the Dunny to lord over others. You know, the Dunny created their worlds, and they were to be the masters of those worlds. And Atris didn't really feel that very strongly. More democratic, I suppose, than Gen. But Atris and Gen were both descendants of the Dunny, but since their extinction. So Atris currently resides in Dunny. He has the resources of whatever was left behind from their civilization. And interestingly now, we find out that he and his father are at odds, and Atris fled from Riven with Catherine, who is a native, and trapped Gen here by taking his linking book and throwing it into the fissure, and via some means, that linking book ended up with me. And then via some other means, Atris and Catherine were able to find their way back to Myst Island, and that's what kicked off the whole series. So let's proceed. The construction of the imagers has proceeded without fault. It is interesting to see how easily I've been able to adapt the Dunny technology to mimic that of the Ahmad. In some ways, the similarities between the two cultures was striking. The similarities were striking, is grammatically correct, but I'll forgive you again for speaking multiple languages. Imagers. I wonder if he means the rotating domes. No, he means the imagers in the classroom and the imagers in the reception room, I think. I wonder if perhaps there had been communication or commerce between the two cultures in earlier times. Maybe Kedis people were even descendants of the Dunny. It pleases me to think so. Note, it's possible that if I were somehow able to supply the books with a power source of sufficient magnitude, I could suppress the variance enough to facilitate a solid link. It is doubtful that the geothermal cap generators could provide such an enormous surge. Perhaps I could adapt the fire marbles. What is a fire marble? I think he's talking about the geothermal. The imagers are the little imagers that shoot at the domes, the rotating domes, and those are the geothermal cap generators. And we don't know what's trapped in there yet. Maybe it's a book. So his poor writing, poor ink, and poor paper that he's been making here could perhaps be powered with enough energy we could overcome those flaws, but he doesn't know if the geothermal alone can power them. I have been cataloging the natural elements of this age for nearly 30 years now, yet I still continue to find evidence of the Dunnies' preoccupation with 5. Yep. As a boy, it was very clear to me that the number 5 had special significance to the Dunny society. From the ancient heraldic emblems of the ruling elite to the humble homes of the commoners, it was ubiquitous. Its presence here is obviously a direct reflection of the minds that designed the texts that I used to compose this age. Further proof that, through their art, the Dunny masters were indeed creating the marvelous worlds that they wrote, and not, as many have mistakenly thought, merely building links to pre-existing worlds. Okay, so this world was colored by whoever wrote its Dunny culture. So, as they write this world into existence, it's of course influenced by the culture of the person writing it and the preconceived notions about what a world should be. But they are created. They are not found. They are created when you write the worlds. Which explains why modification of the book after you've created the age is a very difficult thing to do properly. And it has a lot of ramifications. If you read the Book of Atris, you'll learn that changing an age after you've finished it and visited it, and you go back and modify the words, can have dramatic repercussions, like the butterfly effect. You change one small thing, and the world you once knew is no longer the world you once knew. It can change drastically. Or become unstable, as Riven seems to have been because of Atris's writings that we saw just before he sent us here. So thank you, Atris, for that. While most of my constructions have been based on Dunning designs, I see now that the ones I have imbued with the power of the 5 are clearly the most beautiful, the most perfect, and I believe the most structurally sound. I am still attempting to determine how the Dunning color symbology reflects this superior design principle. Although superficially it is based on a 6-color system, I am convinced that there has to be a deeper connection to 5. I will continue to investigate. So these 6 eye positions are what are called out here. We have found 2 of those geothermal domes with 2 of these symbols. We found the closed vertical eyelid, and we found the first one here, this kind of cat's eye looking thing with the first eyelid closed and the second eyelid in the process of closing. I'm going to scribble all of these down at the top here just so I don't know, you never know, might be important. Okay, I finally made a breakthrough. I have succeeded in modifying the fire marbles to generate enough power to hold a descriptive linking book in a stable matrix. I have linked to a new world. It is a harsh and desolate age, but it is nonetheless well suited for my purposes, and so I have designated it my numbered age. We'll decompose this number here in a minute and see if we can figure it out. By studying it closely, I believe I will eventually be able to create a more appropriate age for us to resettle on. For now, I will build an office and set up my living quarters there in order that I may conduct my experiments in safety and without distraction. Okay. I'm gonna decompose this number a little bit, if you'll just be a bit patient with me. Let's write it down very large format. Okay, so first things first, we've drawn a 5, a really large 5. And it has RD at the end of it, so it's a third, something third most likely. It's not first, second. It could be an ND. It could be second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So it's something probably third. 5. This number across is a very large 5 encompassing 2 separate numbers, and none of them are rotated sideways. So we don't need to get, if they were rotated sideways, it would be a base 10, but because it's base 5, this one is a 4. So this kind of, if I draw it on top here, this would be a 4, which means that is a 9 on the left. This makes up a 9. And then on the right, KI with a line through it is 8. but the line goes through all of it. So either these two are joined, or this is some sort of base 10 combination, I guess. Let's see. So Ki with the line through it would be 8. So this is the number. But I also think that it's not, this is not 9 because it's not a single overlay. It's like overlaying the 5 on the whole thing. So like 5 is like the tens column. So I think it would probably be 5, 4. You know, I'm really not sure. I don't know how much it matters, but I'm just going to assume that it doubles. Like each one of these is a column. And so we have 9 here, and then we have Ki with the line through it here, which is 8. So that's 9, 8, which 98erd age doesn't make any sense. It could be 4 plus Ki alone, which is 3, which is 7, plus 5, which would be 12th age, and that's not correct either. So nevertheless, until we get some idea of how their tens work, we'll just move on from there. So I'm just going to make up a number and call it the 43rd, even though I don't believe that's true, because that would make it base 10, which makes no sense whatsoever. Okay. I've begun construction on a series of link sites for each island that will connect Riven with my new office on 43rd. The Survey Guild has finally completed the site location for each island according to my exact specifications, and installation of the domes is underway at last. So each one of those domes all link to the same place, his office. I must admit that I'm proud of my work. To think that in such primitive conditions I've accomplished in 29 years what it took the original Dunny centuries to achieve. Well, he's very proud of himself. Note, repair outerwear for work on this world. The goggles may need to be redesigned altogether. So the first goggle-wearing man was perhaps an agent of Gen here. Work on the central power source got off to a bit of a bad start, I'm afraid, but the pace has picked up considerably since then, and I anticipate no further delays. I'm looking forward to finally having a civilized mode of transportation. So here is the gold dome. Here is the map he is referred to in the gold dome, with each of these ostensibly going to these tubes going to that revolving cap on each geothermal site, within which we have now learned contains a linking book to Gen's stronghold. I don't know why you need 5 of them, except that he just really likes the number 5. But something to do with fire marbles. We don't know anything about those yet. Due to the rebels' continued disturbances, I've decided to install a coded access system into all of the domes. We know this. This is easy. Yes. So dome code would be 6. 6. I'm going to switch to my notebook so you can see me draw here. Not that you care. DI with the line through it, which is 7. This one, which could be this is the sideways DI, which means 10, and then 3 bars, which is 1. I believe this would be 11. That's a little bit of conjecture, but okay. An upside down. That's a 4, but it's upside down. But upside down. I have no idea. And then this final digit. X. This X. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need to learn a bit more about the number system. maybe instead of flipping it sideways like the number 5, flipping it over is 4 5s. So maybe that would be 20. So like 4, because I know a rotation, that would be a rotation of 4 as well as a mirror image. So you could mirror 4 about the horizontal axis, and it would give you this. If you flipped that across the axis, it would give you this number. But also, that would be the same effect as if you took the 4 and you had rotated it 90 degrees, because of the laws of how they write it once you've rotated it. Instead of the, you end up with that kind of reoriented serif, I guess, which is on the edge of it. So I think that could be a rotated 4, which might mean 4 5s, which would be 20. But I don't know if the numbers go that high. I think there were 4 sections of 5, so perhaps it will. This final one, this X, is really tough. Perhaps because this first one, which is 6, it's symmetrical. So if you rotate that whole thing, it becomes the same shape, just in a different orientation. So perhaps to differentiate this number 6 from a rotated number 6, they cross the bars to indicate that angular displacement. So for now, I'm going to call that number, that would be 6 and 5, 6 times 5, which is 30. And I don't know if the number scale goes that high, so this may not be right at all, but it's as good as I can do with my knowledge right now. Let's carry on. I caught one of my assistants looking over this journal today. I'm glad I've chosen to write it in a language they cannot decipher. Joke's on you, dude. I know English. Note, discuss security with each guildmaster. No problems expected from maintainers, educators, and surveyors. Question the bookmakers and builders more closely. Perhaps getting feelings of power. Today I heard several more reports of spirit sightings by some of the villagers. It seems that under Catherine's leadership, the rebels, or the Black Moiety, as the villagers obstinately insist on referring to them, have attained a new level of sophistication in their terror tactics, and have renewed their campaign to intimidate the villagers into joining them, playing upon their shared superstitions. The villagers are certainly susceptible to this form of coercion, especially given of late the rebels' increasing acts of vandalism and theft. So perhaps all is not well in Rhythm. The Yttrim traps have been steadily fruitful this year. Apparently the breakup of the islands has not adversely affected the subterranean ecosystems. Unfortunately, I imagine the rebels are experiencing a similarly generous harvest. No shortage of poison for their darts this season, so I was right. The Yttrim are the frogs, and poison from their darts, for their darts. Such morbid issues aside, the sudden availability has allowed me to refine a particularly pleasant extract for my pipe, one that is smoother than any of the others from recent years. Ah, yes, one man's poison is another man's hallucinogenic. Expanding his mind. He's the Steve Jobs of Riven, I guess. Chemical analysis of one of the rebel knives has yielded curious results. Its composition contains elements that are unlike anything I've encountered on the islands. It appears they have access to a resource of which I am unaware. Perhaps a mine or an uncharted island. So these knives are the rebels' knives. Which means that the first person we saw who jammed that lever with a knife was probably a rebel. Note, most of the knives have been found on the south side of the village. This is the same area in which there have been reports of people mysteriously disappearing. I think a closer inspection of the area is warranted. The fact that they leave these distinctive knives as a sign of their presence concerns me. They're growing more bold and seem to no longer fear discovery of their hideout. Well, there was that giant knife next to... I mean, did they leave those there? The really big ones? That takes like a crane and some other stuff going on. The latest measurements indicate that the recent trend has continued. The movement of the islands has slowed tremendously. My previous estimates predicted a total collapse in approximately 3 months, but with the new figures I am uncertain. I have nearly finished writing the 44th age, so I think that was right. The overarching 5 joins the numbers together to indicate they're connected, which would make that other one correctly 43rd age. So that big overarching 5 with the lines through it only means that these two numbers belong together. So instead of 4 and 4, this would be 44th, which is very kind of a weird hybrid of unit systems, I guess, if that's correct. I have every faith that it will indeed be a safe place for us to relocate to, yet it would be helpful to know what has caused the halt in this age's breakup. Is it possible that it's stable after all? If so, I must discover how this age differs from my less successful attempts. My examinations of the 43rd age have thus far proven inconclusive. Or perhaps someone is repairing the damage to the 5th age. Atris, perhaps, who was scribbling in the 5th age. Why does he call it the 5th age? 45th? If so, it would almost certainly be Atris's doing. Yes, yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I have reluctantly decided to abandon my experiments into the behavior of the water of this age, as there are more pressing matters on which I must now concentrate, leaving me little time for such speculative research. For future reference, however, my investigation up to this point have revealed the following. I believe the remarkable properties of the water, the Moses holes we mentioned earlier, to be caused by a life form that resides in it, specifically a type of bacteria. I'm imagining a motile unicellular organism, but one with structures capable of holding bits of water whose combined effect, via surface tension, a stronger force, causes the composite body of water to move in response to heat. Prolonged exposure to extreme heat, for example a period of extended boiling, seems to kill the bacteria, which would explain its dramatic aversion to heat sources. Unfortunately, these theories are still not fully tested, and I remain ignorant both of its deeper nature and its possible uses. Well, someone is not ignorant to its possible uses because they've built a whole underground submarine system to torture people with. An exciting development. Last night, a squad of maintainers stumbled upon a lone rebel scout and obtained from him a most incredible device. It is a crystal that somehow powers these flawed linking books, much as my own system does, but with an obvious advantage. It is small and weighs only a few pounds, making it completely portable. Catherine must have fabricated the device before I captured her, obviously with an explicit dunny schematic she must have brought with her to this age. If only I had access to such a document all these years. Regardless, I can now concentrate solely on the writing of ages and need to no longer worry about building elaborate power supplies for each new book I write. Well, if you'd write better books, you wouldn't need power supplies. This is a sobering reminder, however, that I must continue to seek an avenue to Dunny. Regaining access to the resources there may be crucial to the completion of my mission. So this map, maybe you put the book in it and a crystal map thing powers it up. It's the end of the lesson. Very interesting. This has been a very long recording, so because of all that writing, I will pause here. Thank you guys for watching, and tune in to the next episode as we explore more of this laboratory. Have a good night.